If you're interested about discovering more about yourself, and maybe you are investigating paths as non-duality, Advaita Vedanta, non-dual teachings, I want to warn you about a specific problem that might rise from just an intellectual investigation into the nature of ourselves. Personally, I was following Dzogchen, so Buddhist tradition. I was practicing tantric practices, not tantric in the sense that nowadays people think sexual practices, but rather practices where the aim to transform our psychological state. And I was part of a sangha, so I was following these practices not just by watching some YouTube videos or researching myself. I was legally and formally a student of a teacher in this Dzogchen tradition. I was part of a sangha of more than 400 people, and we were following these teachings, which were very powerful. In particular, for me, the Wheel of Life of Buddha was a very insightful and amazing tool that create a new perspective about myself that was not present before. And for sure, I give much importance to that tool that appeared in my life, let's say, because it really was able to give me a new perspective about who I am. The investigation of who we are can be a quite complex topic, and more than that, especially because we tend to go into it only through intellectual speculation, so to speak. In fact, what I noticed is that at some point I even had to leave this sangha because I realized that the path was just for myself. It wasn't to take, was about taking new beliefs and being part of a group of people, which could be a very helpful thing to do at the beginning because you have the support and society does encourage us to do this kind of work. It's not paid and doesn't make any money. On the contrary, you need to invest money most of the time to receive teachings and participate in seminars and things like that. So I think it was beneficial at the beginning, even diving into the concept of the observer, that it is quite a wide topic and concept available in these spiritual paths, where we kind of distance ourselves from our own perceptions and our own mind movements, and we stand in a place of stillness and we watch everything. What I noticed, especially browsing on YouTube, because I'm also a YouTube guy, you're watching this video on YouTube, on my blog, whatever it is that this concept is even getting a little bit manipulated in a very superficial way, in the sense that people stand still in front of a camera and they think and they say, I'm the infinite consciousness, I'm the infinite possibilities, everything is happening around me without me. Which to a certain extent is true, but let's face the reality of things. Only concept will never get us to really understand the meaning of such profound experiences. In one way, what I felt was to share with my Gong student. If you're not familiar with Gong, or you're watching maybe this video for the first time, is a very powerful energetic practice. I felt the need of sharing part of the non-dual teachings that I received in the Buddhist tradition, because an intellectual map is kind of needed to understand who we are, where the problem arises, and how we can manage to sort it out, so to speak. But unfortunately, what's happening now is that more and more people are taking this thing a bit lighter, in the sense that they believe infinite consciousness. Actually, they are. But the funny thing is that watching videos as Eckhart Tolle, Moji, Rupert Spira, people that I really watched in the past, with the goal actually of just quietening my mind if I see it now, they can be amazing tool, they can be amazing investigations. However, the problem is they might just stay on a very superficial intellectual way, and we carry around these new beliefs and we live life according to a new set of beliefs. But when we go into non-dual teaching, actually we're trying to find the core which of course is undescribable. It's actually very easy. It's not something difficult because it's part of ourselves. It's not something that it's even difficult to understand at the beginning, and also to live experientially, even for a few moments when you listen to some kind of pointings. But what's happening, and this is why I'm making this video, because I want to warn you from this. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm just saying my personal experience, also reflected to the results that happened in my Sangha, so in the group of spiritual people who are following this Buddhist tradition, is that we carry around new beliefs. So we, instead of before maybe we have some kind of fights and inner conflicts, we just think, oh, I'm the infinite consciousness, I am the server, I am detached from all of this, I am nobody. And we go around in this way. And what I noticed even in my spiritual Sangha was that people carry on with this belief and still carry on with this belief quite a lot. And I felt the need at some point to detach from all of that, because I said, oh my God, this is just another system of roles, who is smarter, who is more enlightened, who is more knowledgeable, with some mystical experience. And that's a danger. That's a danger because it's even a bit more subtle than the usual mind problems, because we elevate ourselves to a state conceptually that is not part of our personal experience. It's just a new thought, a new belief going around. And I know that this video might be challenging some of your ideas. We might even react badly to something like this. But unfortunately, what I notice is that the map without a practice or without a tool that can allow us to dive practically into this investigation, like in my case it was Gong, it's really a dangerous process. Because I saw all these people from the Sangha and believing and keep believing that everything is love, everything is God, everything is nice. To a certain extent it is, everything it's like that. But what's the point if we act from a place of a new mask? At the end of the day, what we call spiritual alignment, what we call true understanding or truth, whatever you want to put it in words, it's just a natural state. In fact, even the Buddhist tradition, Dzogchen, it's called the natural state of the mind. Nothing special about that, apart from maybe we have some kind of weird ideas before starting to have a little bit of sips and understanding, experience of this state. It can be very dangerous just to stay in this kind of intellectual ideas, because it will take us nowhere. It's kind of hiding, trying to hide the sun with your finger. It's not gonna last forever, and then life is gonna kick in some ways or another. It's gonna slap us in the face. It's gonna make those belief going down. Because as I said, the purpose is just to become natural, a natural human being who is not living anymore into an inner conflict, who is not pretending to be an enlightened person, who is not pretended to have understood anything, because there's nothing to understand in my opinion. It's just an unfolding mystery that continuously develop, what we call life in my opinion. If we stick to some ideas, and even the idea of observer that I touched before, that could be helpful at the beginning to make us realize actually all our inner programs that are taking place in our life, at some point it even needs to be dropped. Because it's just another idea. I am the server and there is something outside. That's really the opposite of a non-dual approach, because we are dividing us and outside. So in one way there is just one big thing happening. It's true that it just happens on its own. We don't know why we make certain choices over other ones, but it's a natural process, and there's no too much to be understood and discussed and making videos and trying to approach it in a very intellectual way, because we're just creating a new set of beliefs, we're just creating a new identity, an enlightened identity, when in reality we're just all in the same place here. So there's no actual difference, there's no actual observer, there is just one big thing happening. So we are just watching. Again, I know it sounds like I'm going against everything that I said, watching the whole big process taking place, or at least I will leave you with this better example, because otherwise it could be misleading. Observation takes place naturally. There's no need for an observer to decide to observe. Observation is part of the fact that we are alive. So we are constantly observing, constantly experiencing, and there is no need, there is no actually an idea of somebody observing. It's true. But that's why the idea of the observer is a quite a limited process that can be helpful at the beginning, but eventually can lead us to lead our life according to a new lens that is not actually totally correct. In fact, what I suggest is that also if you have some kind of practice, it doesn't have to be Qigong, could be yoga, could be just sitting, could be just walking, could be painting, could be a moment of full intense awareness when you actually are 100% there, and there is also a little bit of space between what's happening and where you're watching from. And having a practice like that can really be the ultimate point to merge eventually with life and just live a simple life.